Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So I've been trying for like 16 times now to make this video without a fucking distraction, and it's just not happening. Like whether the phone rings or something else happens, I don't fucking feel good. I started with a sore throat on Thursday. Now my sinuses are bothering me on Friday, and now today it's like, if I'm not sick, I'm definitely on my way to fucking getting there. So anyway, I want to talk about the Portland Trailblazers because this is a team that is really intriguing. I haven't watched a lot of their games. Like, they're just a team that is performing above expectation, I think. Right now they're 3-3. Their defense is actually really good. They're currently top 10 in the NBA in defense. Offensively, they're at the bottom of the league. I mean, their pace is at the bottom of the league. Their net rating is negative 4.3, which is good for 21st out of 30 teams in the NBA. They're playing well on defense, but really shitty on offense, and it's not really hard to see why. But I'm gonna probably say some things Portland Trailblazers fans are not going to like. But it's going to be what it's going to be. And the first person we're going to talk about is Scoot Henderson, because for whatever reason, before the season started, leading up into the NBA draft, and even after the draft, everybody was saying how Scoot Henderson's going to be Rookie of the Year. Everybody was saying, oh, he's going to be better than Victor Wembanyama. He's going to be a franchise guy. We need to take him. We need to take that. And I'm just like, people have some really, really high expectations for a guy that I think the best he's going to be is John Wall. And everybody was like, yeah, he's, there were so many people who held the opinion that he was going to be Rookie of the Year, that he was just going to come in and turn the fucking Trailblazers roster around and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, you know what? Scoot Henderson's a project. I'm just going to call it, he's a project. I don't even think he should have went second overall. Like, I knew he was going to go second overall. That's where people were going to pick him. But if you asked me, like, yeah, he's a good player, good at finishing around the basket. Even in the G League, he looked like a good defender, which in the NBA, he doesn't look like a good defender. But it's just the idea, like, he's a guy that I think people saw play against Victor Wembanyama, and then were like, yeah, he's the next guy. And I get that. Like, I understand how polarizing Victor Wembanyama is, so the idea that Scoot Henderson played well against him made people think that he was, like, something that I think he really isn't. Because Scoot Henderson, to start the season, has been, like, abysmal. Like, fucking abysmal, okay? Not just abysmal, fucking abysmal, okay? He's shooting 34% from the field, and I don't even know how this is possible, but he's shooting 0.95% from three. He is taking 4 threes a game and making less than one of them at 0.4. For a 3-point percentage of 0.95, okay? Now, I'm not going to get on his ass too bad, but, like, he's not even getting to the free throw line, really. I mean, he's shooting 1.5 free throws a game for 85% from the free throw line, which I guess, take that for what it is. I don't know. That doesn't tell much to me when you're only shooting, like, 2 free throws a game. If you're a really good shooter or not, because it's not really hard to make 2 free throws, but he's averaging 8.8 points per game, 4.5 assists a game. He's averaging 4 turnovers and 4 fouls a game. He is committing the most fouls out of anybody on the Portland Trailblazers roster. And what worries me about Scoot Henderson is he, at the NBA level, okay, he sucks at playing defense, and I feel like because he sucks at playing defense, he's committing fouls in order to prevent his man from scoring. And I hope it doesn't become a habit, because I'm just like, he's got to learn to play defense at the NBA level. Now, the one bright side to all of the shit I just said is that he's shooting 51% on 2-point field goals. So it just goes to show, like, yeah, the 3-point shot is non-existent right now. Like, I'm just going to call it what it is. Like, it's non-existent. If I'm the Portland Trailblazers, let him run the offense. Let him, do playmaking, let him finish around the basket, let him do shit inside the 3-point line. But when it comes to jacking threes, Scoot Henderson is not the guy, okay? Like, his 3-point shooting is up the creek without a paddle, okay? So that's my thoughts on Scoot Henderson. I don't know where people were pulling this idea that, like, he was going to be some crazy, I like rookie of the year candidate. Like I get that he was taken number 2 overall, but like when I watched him play in the G League, I was like, okay, like he's solid. Like there's something there, but I feel like people really, I don't know, had rose tinted glasses on Scoot Henderson, and now that he's not even in the rookie of the year conversation anymore, and we're 5 games in. Like people are like quickly realizing that like, oh, like Chet Holmgren's pretty good, Victor Wembanyama's pretty good, even Brandon Miller, who people for whatever fucking reason were not high on, were like, yeah, Brandon Miller's better than him now. Even Cam Whitmore and other guys, I'm like, I think they have a higher chance of winning rookie of the year than Scoot Henderson does, because Scoot Henderson is not playing well, and on top of it, he's not the number 1 option on their team. You know, anytime your rookie is not like a number 1 option, or even in the starting lineup, which granted Scoot is in the starting lineup, I have a feeling that might not be for a very long, like I feel like that's not gonna last a very long time if he keeps playing this way. But it's just the idea, like, Scoot Henderson's a point guard. He's not the number 1 scoring option. He's not even like the number 2 or number 3 scoring option. So with that being said, I just don't think he's going to be rookie of the year. That's my opinion on Scoot Henderson. That's what I think. I'm not going to get into it too bad because he's 5 games in. I understand there's an adjustment period to the NBA. We don't really know what guys become until like after the All-Star break. Hell, even Anthony Edwards looked like shit to start his rookie year, and then after the All-Star break really took off. So I don't know, man. You know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold my tough criticism for Scoot Henderson for another time. But for now, it's not looking good to start out. Next is DeAndre Ayton. A lot of people, it was funny, I saw a thing on Twitter the other day where like it said DeAndre Ayton's only averaging 8 points per game for the Trailblazers, and people were frying him. People were like, oh yeah, see, he sucks because he went to another team and is not asserting himself as, he said he coined the term dominating in the offseason, and everybody's like, see, yeah, he's not dominating. Bro, he's sharing fucking shot attempts with 5 other people, okay? And he's their 6th option on offense. Like, with as bad as Scoot Henderson is playing, DeAndre Ayton is their sixth option. He gets 8.8 points per game and is honestly putting up very good numbers for a guy who's their 6th option. He's got 11.2 points per game, 13.7 rebounds a game, 1.5 assists, almost 2.5 steals a game, and 1 block on 1.5 turnovers. He's committing 2.8 personal fouls a game. He's shooting 60% from the field and 100% from the free throw line. Like, he hasn't missed a free throw. So for a guy who's played 6 games, started 6 games, is playing 30 minutes a game, I think those are solid numbers for a guy who's got to share shots with Jeremy Grant, Shaedon Sharpe, Malcolm Brogdon, Anthony Simons, and Scoot Henderson. And Anthony Simons has only played 1 game, but he's injured. So, I just think DeAndre Ayton's a guy who's going to look a lot better once Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Grant are gone. And speaking of that, I want to talk about Jeremy Grant because the Blazers just paid him way more money than he was worth in the offseason to be a part of the Portland Trailblazers, which ultimately got them to make Damian Lillard request a trade. But Jeremy Grant is playing like total shit. He is the 2nd highest scoring player on their roster as far as points per game goes. But when it comes to efficiency, he's shooting 28% from 3 and 38% from the field. Jeremy Grant is 29 years old and Malcolm Brogdon is 31. These are 2 guys that I have a feeling will not be on the roster come the trade deadline. Now, I don't know who's going to trade for Jeremy Grant. He's going to have to increase those efficiency numbers if the Portland Trailblazers want him to be traded for anything. But Malcolm Brogdon's a guy I expect to be gone, and Jeremy Grant's another guy I expect to be gone. Jeremy Grant is 29, the 2nd highest aged player after those 2 on this entire roster is 26. So right now, Jeremy Grant and Malcolm Brogdon are the 2 oldest players on this roster, and I just don't think they're a part of the Portland Trailblazers' future. I really think the Portland Trailblazers are just going to clean house of both of them and try to get more draft picks or maybe some younger talent. Robert Williams has looked really good for them as well. Robert Williams is a guy averaging 7 and 7 right now on 65% from the field, averaging 1.4 blocks a game and 1.4 steals, and is also shooting an impressive 75% from the free throw line. So, if you're the Trailblazers, the Robert Williams thing worked out, the DeAndre Ayton thing has worked out. Scoot Henderson we have yet to see what that's going to be. The criticism on him we'll save for another time because we're only 5 games in. But now it's time to get into the topic of discussion why I know everybody's here, and that is Shaedon Sharpe. Shaedon Sharpe, it's nice to see that the Portland Trailblazers finally just gave him the keys to the car. They're like, here, take us there, because he's doing it. In fact, I would argue if Shaedon Sharpe wasn't on the team, this team would probably be 0-6. Shaedon Sharpe is scoring 20 points per game. He's got about a block and a steal a game, 0.8 blocks, 1 steal. He's not committing a lot of turnovers. He's not committing a lot of personal fouls. He's grabbing 5.5 rebounds a game. He's shooting 86% from the free throw line, 50% on 2-pointers, 37% from 3, 45% from the field on 15 shot attempts a game. Shaedon Sharpe finally looks like the guy that people were talking about pre-draft. He's a guy last year who impressed me a little bit, but Shaedon Sharpe is like really... he's gonna be in the conversation, I think, for most improved player of the year. Obviously it's gonna be like Tyrese Maxey, Devin Vassell will probably be in the conversation, and I think so will Shaedon Sharpe. Shaedon Sharpe is getting the free reign to do whatever he wants, and so far in that time, he's actually looking really, really good. So I definitely think Shaedon Sharpe is obviously a part of their future. DeAndre Ayton is obviously a part of their future. But right now, it seems like pretty much everybody else is a toss-up. Robert Williams looks like he's a part of the future. For now, Scoot Henderson obviously is. Obviously, team's not going to give up on him after 1 year. But Scoot Henderson's looked rough to start. But yeah, I expect the Portland Trailblazers to move Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Grant. This is a team also, like, just in my closing statement, like, this is a team that could potentially play better. Obviously, it's very early on in the season. Jeremy Grant could just be knocking the rust off. But even if he does, like, I just feel like this is a team that is going to move on from Jeremy Grant and Malcolm Brogdon at some point. They just don't fit the Trailblazers timeline whatsoever. And, DeAndre Ayton's 25, Scoot Henderson's 19, Shaedon Sharpe is 20. You got two guys on your team that are almost 30 plus years old. Brogdon being 31, Jeremy Grant being 29, that I just, like, Brogdon's going to be easy to move, but Jeremy Grant probably won't be. Obviously because of the money you just paid Jeremy Grant. I feel like if you're a Portland and you wanted to bring back Jeremy Grant, I don't know if it was like, yeah, you had to pay him that much to bring him back. But because you overpaid for Jeremy Grant, that's going to make it even harder for you to trade him. I'm sure someone's going to take him, but really what you can get for him is probably going to be pretty limited. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but Malcolm Brogdon's a guy somebody's going to take. I don't know who, but probably around the trade deadline they'll take him. And the cool thing is, once Malcolm Brogdon's gone, like I said, DeAndre Ayton will get more opportunity. Shaedon Sharpe will get more opportunity, I think, and even Scoot Henderson could get more opportunity. And we could finally start to see what this team is going to be like in the future. But so far, defensively, team looks solid. Offensively, not so much, and it's mostly efficiency problems. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe this team comes together and they start hitting jump shots. Maybe Jeremy Grant improves. Maybe Scoot Henderson improves. Even if those two guys, specifically those two guys, just start shooting better. Even Malcolm Brogdon's not shooting great. He's shooting 41% from the field, 35% from 3. If Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Grant, and Scoot Henderson get it together offensively, the Portland Trailblazers could overperform and at least going into the trade deadline exceed expectations. So yeah, you know what? I like this team. Actually Shaedon Sharpe is a guy that I've been kind of interested to watch because like he's looking like a freak of nature. I'm just going to call it what it is. Like, he's a guy that I'm like, yeah, in the next couple of years, Shaedon Sharpe's going to be a real problem. So, anyway, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.